Adam Driver, Greta Gerwig, and the director of Marriage Story. This movie's coming to Netflix tomorrow. We're going to talk about it. What's up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. I know you're waiting on my best movies of the year. That video is coming tomorrow, but today I'm bringing you a review for White Noise. I had no clue what this movie was going to be. I saw it in New York 2 months ago, and I just watched it again for this review. Let's try to talk about it. This movie dramatizes a contemporary American family's attempts to deal with the mundane conflicts of everyday life while grappling with the universal mysteries of love, death, and the possibility of happiness in a very uncertain world. We'll try to parse through that description here in just a second. This film is rated R for brief violence here and language. The director is Noah Baumbach, and this is one of the more out there movies he's ever directed. There's always a purpose to his films, and that's what I appreciate. And like I said, I was a huge fan of Marriage Story. I was just a big fan of what he had done prior to this, so I went into this with an open mind. But of course, I'm expecting a certain style. I'm expecting something that fully comes together and you comprehend while you're watching. That's not the case with White Noise. This story is sporadic. It's out there. It's kind of all over the place. It's intended to be. Now, I will say this, I've never read the book. This is based off of a classic novel, according to a lot of people, and Noah Baumbach obviously responded to this, and along with watching the movie in New York, I actually got to watch a little Q&A with Greta Gerwig, composer Danny Elfman. That was really cool, and to kind of hear their perspective on things and why this movie means what it does, especially at a time like this, especially, and I know people won't want me to bring this up, but post-pandemic, the world that we are living in, how it kind of mirrors, at least in the first act, the world that this family is living in, but at the same time, they're overlooking the harshness, or really the reality, of the situation that they're in, and they call it in the movie an airborne toxic event. An event that, at least they believe, starts out as this small thing that happened, and the kids seem more concerned than the parents. Adam Driver, he plays a college professor. We'll talk about what he's a professor of, but also a dad who's just living life, and it feels as if he is overlooking the obvious madness that is around him, not just the outside of their house, but what's going on the inside. Because this family, they're spitting facts, they're having conversations, they're telling stories, they're going back and forth, and it's a lot of talking, and it's a lot of talking over each other. There's something authentic about the dialogue in this film, but there's also something, and I think a lot of people are going to watch this movie and feel this way, annoying about the dialogue that we get. And I've seen a lot of complaints about how the dialogue in this movie is handled. People saying it's everything from completely obnoxious to kind of real, right? And I don't have kids yet, but I feel as if a parent could watch this and feel the weight of the situation, not only because this mother and father, they have to protect their family, but also they have to deal with their family. And this first act of the movie was, for me, super entertaining, because not only are you just constantly trying to get invested in the conversations, what's going on outside of the home, and of course, when this big airborne toxic event hits, the family has to go somewhere, and that's a journey. It's a journey that a lot of people are going to be entertained by, but the movie's also really funny, and if nothing else, I think people are going to watch this film, maybe not know what's going on, but laugh at it. You may not see the themes, you may not understand why the three acts are structured so differently, but at least you'll laugh. Are you going to laugh at the idea that he is a professor of Hitler studies? And this is supposed to be, according to those who have read the book, a satirical-ish thing, and they're making a commentary about academic studies and the lunacy of how certain things work on that level. Well, the movie itself, they tell you that he's a professor of Hitler studies, and it's something that does become a gag as the movie goes on, but it doesn't necessarily come across as something that's trying to say something as meaningful as what the source material may have intended, so that it wasn't a complete misfire, but I don't know if that fully worked with the story. And then you have where the movie goes after the airborne toxic event has kind of calmed down, right? It's a big deal, but something else starts happening. And the third act of this movie feels so disconnected from the first two acts, and I mean on a level that I haven't quite seen this year. It's not as frustrating as what bad movies have presented to me in 2022. But it's still frustrating because there are so many things in this film that work. They're firing on all cylinders. I love the dialogue, and really I may love the source material if I ever get to go and read the book. I think the performances are so great. Gerwig, who plays Babette, at first I didn't know how I was feeling about her performance, but the more we see the chemistry between she and Jack, played by Adam Driver, the more I loved it, or lack thereof, because there are some big issues that they have in the midst of the movie. Don Cheadle has some standout lines. There are also some cameos in there, and I won't spoil who's in it and what their role is in it, but anytime Don Cheadle's on screen, I'm just like, this is what I want from Don Cheadle. This is right. It was awesome. I think the kids are good. The score, obviously, you have someone like Danny Elfman. It's going to work. The cinematography works visually. This is a film you don't get tired of when it comes to looking at it because you're just kind of in awe with everything that's happening in your brain, but it also works extremely well unseen. And there's also a massive musical number at the end, and I won't tell you the context, but I will tell you it takes place in a grocery store, and their hub in this movie, the place that they go to make themselves feel better, it kind of mirrors in real life the place that we go that's just, it's just there. We're all gathered there. We're seeing people, we're meeting people, we're talking to people. For some people, it allows us to get away from our everyday lives until there's a pandemic and people are fighting over toilet paper. Then it's miserable. But I like how they use the grocery store and certain themes in this film. And then you get into the third act, and there's this storyline with Babette and taking some unidentified pills and how that's affecting her. And there's a little bit of a antagonist at play there. And I felt that got a little too overboard, a little too ridiculous. I saw what it was going for. But again, you've solved 2 or 3 problems earlier in this movie, and then you start something new, and it's affecting how things are working. So again, my main criticism with White Noise, it's overly complicated. That may be the story that they're telling, but maybe the story they're telling is overly complicated. I don't know. I haven't read it. Before I give you my score, this movie's dropping on Netflix December 30th. Let me know how you feel down below. If you enjoyed this review and you want to drop a like, that would be awesome. Today's phrase of the day is, every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Every day I wake up. Actually, let's not say dead. YouTube may not like that. Let's say alive. Every day I wake up and I hope you're alive. That's the phrase to comment. White Noise thrives off the authenticity of the madness, the meaningful dialogue, and some great performances. The plot is far too complicated for its own good, but it will provide plenty of entertainment, and you know what? I was entertained. That's why I'm going a 76% with my score, and I'll tell you this, it got better on second watch because I was able to piece together certain things, and I wish I could watch every movie twice, but I did this just for voting for the Critics' Choice Awards, and I will say it actually improved the experience, so if you have a chance, watch it twice, but you probably don't. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.